TV systems, or have your technical person tell me, because that's an area I don't know about, and I want to know about the details of that.
Sure, if you'd like that, Doctor, I actually have 2 engineers here, and they can explain it to you. But, you know, we have TV sets behind me on the nightly news, and they're digital, and just to run feeds to them, to talk to a guest on Skype, or you know, to have a blue background behind me, all the TVs you buy that are prosumer or even professional now, it has a gate in it that scans to see if I'm even streaming something over it that's copyright, and then it's endless. You know, to use software, you've got to have the dongle in the machine, and then that screws up. I mean,
that's because you're using proprietary software. And proprietary, you see, with software, there are just 2 possibilities. Either the users control the program, or the program controls the users. What you're seeing is that with proprietary software, the software controls the users. Now, what's proprietary software? That's any software for which the users don't have the freedom to run it as they wish, study and change the source code, and redistribute it either with or without changes. So,
sure, just to be clear, Doctor.
Control. But with Windows or Mac OS or Skype, the software controls the users. That's why I will not use any of that.
Well, it is the machines surveilling us, preemptively turning us into slaves. A lot of our operation is run on Linux systems. I'm not a tech guy, but...
they're not Linux systems. They're GNU systems, and you're talking about my work there.
You're right. You are the progenitor of that with GNU that then other things grew out of. So GNU systems, we do have a lot of those. We have one of our... IT people just absolutely loves your work, has tried to build a lot of things around here like that. But separately, when I've got a pretty big operation, I mean, it's not that big, like 34 people, you know, sometimes we've got to hurry. We've got to buy software to run TV shows. We've got to get equipment. I'm talking about solid state stuff, Doc, that won't work as well. All I'm saying is it screws everything up.
Yeah, hardware can be malicious too. And the encryption of video between a computer and the monitor is an example of a malicious hardware feature that has been put into essentially all modern PCs by a conspiracy of corporations, including hardware companies and media companies. So you can see it. They buy laws like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to forbid people to escape from these things, and then they can design our technology to abuse us however they wish. So what you can see is that proprietary software, because even when there's hardware that's malicious, the software has to make use of the malicious features. So the proprietary software is involved also. And when software is proprietary, it is likely to have malicious features in it to spy, to restrict, and there are even back doors that accept remote commands to do things.
That's what I was about to get to, sir. We're talking to Richard Stallman, free software inventor, creator, guru, Obi-Wan Kenobi type. You know, so much of what we live with today that is the only alternative to what you know, the big corporate Borg are oppressing us with did come out of his ideas. But expanding on this, Doc, because when you talk about it, that's what I'm saying. I've tried to get the freer systems, and I'm saying in many cases it does not exist. I don't have the money to hire an army of people that are trained in free software to be able to even attempt it. And what you said is true. There's all these Trojan horses built into everything, and I'm even paying for it, and it's junk no matter how expensive, because the whole thing is tied down with these handcuffs, and it just absolutely stifles innovation, as you said 30 years ago.
Well, although it does worse than stifle innovation. You see, innovation is the sacred cow of people who claim that they need to be allowed to restrict us. They say if they can restrict us, they'll do more innovation. But innovation can be good or bad. Democracy was once an innovation. Tyranny was once an innovation. So innovation can serve us.
Bioweapons were once an innovation.
Yeah, innovation will only serve us if we have control over what innovations we'll accept and what innovations we'll reject. So I do not accept innovation as sufficiently important to justify taking away our freedom. Yes, I'd like innovation, all else being equal, assuming we have freedom. But when somebody argues, give up your freedom so we can make more innovation, that is literally a Trojan horse.
Well, that's well said, but my point is they are... I mean, everybody knows Microsoft stuff works horribly because it's all got backdoor spy systems, and it's just total crap because, excuse my French there, because they're obsessed and control freaks. Bill Gates.
Yep. But it's not just Microsoft. I've got to point out that Apple is even worse.
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon is horrible. The Amazon swindle, an ebook reader, has known spy features. Of course, it has digital handcuffs, and it has a back door for deleting books. Do you know that Amazon remotely deleted thousands of books in 2009?
Yeah, 1984.
Right. Someone wrote they used up a year's supply of irony, demonstrating the Orwellian nature of their product, which they call the Kindle, because it's designed to burn our books. They demonstrated it by deleting Orwell's book.
Oh, that's another point. They've got this Kazaa thing where I've had rights to music. I've uploaded it, but because it's in some registrar, suddenly it shuts down the audio on my videos that millions of people are watching. And even though I have letters sending them to YouTube that I have licensure, it doesn't matter because the computer recognized it and did that. And they now admit they could erase my voice off these major systems in a matter of hours with the same technology. I mean, you talk about dangerous, having all the books digital. They could just hit a button.
Yes. That's why I won't use such systems. I will never use anything like the Amazon Kindle for my books, because I want to have books that I can read without any proprietary technology. I want to buy them without identifying myself, and I'm not willing to sign a contract to get them. If I buy a paper book, I can do it with cash in a bookstore. I don't sign a contract, and my eyes, without any aid at all, or at most perhaps with some lenses, can see the letters. I'm not required to get some secret technology just to see what the letters in the book are.
Wow.
So I will never use those ebooks under any circumstances, and I hope the rest of you will join me. If you want to read more about this, look at stallman.org/articles/ebooks.pdf. And at the bottom of that, there is a link to a place you can sign up to participate in our campaign against tyrannical ebook systems.
I mean, I had read some of your writings on this, but the way you put it, we can really see it being put into function. I mean, this is a tyranny. They've designed the current web system as a tyranny consciously, as you said, the big corporations. And the sick part is, when we pay the licenses and buy the equipment, we're paying for their own Trojan horse for them to engage in beyond Orwellian behavior.
Yep, and that's, well, I wouldn't say beyond Orwellian. After all, Oceania did things even worse than destroying books. I mean, they just murdered people. But the point is, we have to reject these systems, and that's the basic idea of the free software movement. I won't accept the systems that are designed to take away my freedom.
Okay, Doctor, I'm going to try to get you in touch right now with one of the engineers to give you any of that information you want. And I'll say bye to you during the break. Perhaps you can even come back for a couple more minutes on the other side and tell us more about solutions. But just intriguing to hear you on with us and all the points that you bring up. It absolutely makes sterling sense.
We're on the march. The empire's on the...
Well, Richard Stallman, Dr. Richard Stallman, free software creator of the GNU system that everything's pretty much based on today, Linux, you name it, is our guest for 5 more minutes. He's going to be gone for a while, but hopefully coming up in a few months, we'll be able to get him on for a full hour. because everything he talks about just totally clicks. Because I'm not an IT person, but I live 12, 14 hours a day around it. We're an internet operation pretty much. We're on commercial radio as well and XM. But I live it, and I've experienced what he's talking about, and all the points he makes ties right in to what I'm just organically seeing as a layperson here. But I was bringing up some intriguing stuff to him during the break. We have the articles. We had the Time Warner executive send us the internal documents after we surmised it. An example of these Trojan horses, the TiVo systems, the Time Warner cable systems, and others. When they censored the Jesse Ventura TV show, it aired once. Congress went crazy on the FEMA camps, ordered them not to air it again. That later came out in Congress. It was a big scandal. Suddenly, off of DVRs nationwide, cable systems, you name it, it disappeared. We confirmed it through one Time Warner office that, you know, that they were ordered to put the command in. They'd never seen that before. But the point is, you pay for cable, you have a DVR, you record on it, and then they go in and erase it. What do you, and I know you want to see the proof of that. We'll get it to you, Doctor. But if true, what do you make of that?
It's just another example of how non-free software is a restriction on the users, and it's an injustice. So if you look around at any non-free software you've heard of, you know, various products that have non-free software in them, every one of them should not be that way.
Yeah, it's very, very sad that this is all going on. We're paying for our own prison. In just 3 or 4 minutes, because I know you've got to go, Doctor, what are some other solutions or things we can start doing to weaken the power of the corporate Borg?
Well, there are all across the various areas of life, we can see corporations taking control of our government and using that power to hurt most people. Of course, there's the financial crisis and all the Americans facing foreclosure. A lot of these foreclosures are fraudulent. The banks are committing fraud when they foreclose. And right now, we're pushing Obama not to let them off the hook, which is what he wants them to do. There are a few states where the attorneys general are trying to pursue the banksters for their fraudulent foreclosures. And there are protests run by Move On today. I'm going to go to one this afternoon. But that's just one example. Of course, the banks created the downturn by purchasing deregulation in Congress. And then if we look at, for instance, agribusiness, which is basically crushed family farming in the U.S., and now gets tremendous subsidies to these corporations, subsidies that were originally meant to help family farmers, and that made sense. But nowadays, it's just subsidies to big business. And then you look at the private prison industry, which is a great reason. They use the prisoners. They have the prisoners work, but it's the company that gets the money. The prisoner gets paid like 50 cents a day, which is, you know, even better for them than hiring somebody in Mexico or China. And so that's a reason to imprison more Americans because they're effectively slave labor. And then if we look at the oil companies and their push